You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K24. It's myself, Momuzi, alongside me as always, the three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong, and our special guest once again back on the show, Coach Brendan Suhr. How you doing,
No,
fellas?
I'm so excited to be with two champions in their own right. Yes.
Hey, man, I'm still working on the championship part, but BJ's
Hey,
here. BJ, how you been? Readjusted to US time
Ah,
schedules?
I'm just here for the entertainment. I'm here for the entertainment between both of you. And if
I'm
you guys
trying
are
to.
half as funny, if you're half as funny as we were before we got on air, this is going to be the best episode ever.
Hey, Mo, we had BJ over in Berlin,
Yep.
and I had petitioned that we leave him there for about a week or two just to have them, get the culture over there on our side. But super agent he is. He's back here working
He never
hard,
stops.
getting ready for
BJ,
this.
what was the best thing you ate in Berlin? Do you try any German food? Do you try schnitzel?
Well, I did not. I did not this time. I did not. I was I had a great we went to this great Italian restaurant. It was
See, this is what
fabulous.
kills me about American people, right?
Yeah.
They all
Okay.
say, I want to go to Europe. I want to see the culture of Europe, right? And every American person I talk to, they come to Europe. I go, what's the best thing you ate? They go, oh, we went to a great Italian restaurant. I say, did you go to Italy? They go, no, no, no. I was in Paris. I just found this great Italian. I was in Berlin and I found this. No, if you want to eat Italian food, go to Italy, bro.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
half.
I was there on business. If I was vacationing, yes. Well, I was there on business, and that's where the business was located. Like,
Oh,
I
they didn't
get it.
take
I
care of you.
understand. No,
Uh,
it wasn't like,
um,
okay, well, you got to go where the business was. So I was
eh,
I was there to go to the games and do what I had to do. So we weren't there hanging out, just just
eh,
eating
eh,
food.
Hey Mo, I'm half German, half Irish. So when
Ah,
I go
guten
to when
Tag.
I go I went yeah, so when I go to Germany, I went on my honeymoon, Miss Brenda and I, BJ, and I did partake, and I had all of that food. It was nothing like that.
Du
So
sprichst Deutsch?
no, no,
Nein,
no,
ich spreche
no,
kein Deutsch.
no. The only thing I know in German
See,
is
you ain't know I got that in
Mercedes.
my bag, BJ. You ain't know that,
No,
did you?
I know Mercedes Benz and I know and BMW. That's about all I know in German.
Well,
We got we got
Okay.
BJ ready to go now.
well,
Now he's ready to go.
it's good to have you guys on the show. And it's also good that the conference finals are not over. We've avoided having two
I
sweeps
know.
as the Minnesota Timberwolves stayed alive with a win on the road, 105 to 100 over the Dallas Mavericks. And we've been crying out for Karl-Anthony Towns to show up in the fourth quarter, and he did. He finished with 25 points, 20 of which were in the second half, and then he fouled out in the fourth quarter. But luckily, his team managed to get the win. Anthony Edwards, 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, just one shy of a triple double. Rudy Gobert gave him 13. Mike Conley gave him 14. Jaden McDaniels gave him 10. They didn't get much from Naz Reid today off the bench, but they did get enough to win the game. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, triple double with 28 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. Kyrie Irving, only 16 points. He was 6 of 18 from the field, 1 of 6 from behind the arc. A cold shooting night from him, and only 4 assists to go with it. Daniel Gafford gave them 12 points without missing a shot. PJ Washington gave them 10. Derek Jones gave them 9. And they got 13 points from a player who I mentioned previously when we were talking about this series, Jaden Hardy, who's really
Yeah.
stepped up in these playoffs. He's been giving them some great minutes. But Brennan, sir, seeing as you're the guest on the show today, what stood out to you from this game?
Well, I thought they really did a good job of specifically and intentionally basically, setting picks for Anthony Edwards, not coming down and actually helping Dallas. I thought they really did a good job of, moving the ball. I thought Anthony Edwards was, from the beginning, came out on fire. Then he went into a real lull for 2 quarters, and then the fourth quarter had enough. But they have to defend, they have to rebound, and they have to use their big people and keep them around the basket. And I thought they did a good job, even though Cat hit some shots from 3-point land. I thought
Four
he
or
did a
five.
better job. Yeah, I thought he really did a good job. And they were big inside, rebounding the ball and stuff like that. So I thought it was good. Defensively is the key for them. They have to play, they have to keep the game under control, especially when you go on the road.
Absolutely. BJ, how about yourself?
Well, I thought like the obvious for me was the way they defended the Dallas Mavericks, especially with the high screen roll. Coach and I've been calling Coach at 6 a.m. my time because it just drives me crazy of how people don't make changes. But tonight, I thought that they really came out and they were very aggressive about how they were going to defend the screen roll, especially the high screen roll in the middle of the court. I think they referred to as boxes. Is it that what it is? Boxes and elbows, Coach? Is that what it is?
That's what Dallas has been doing, but
that's what Dallas is doing.
Yeah, they weren't able to do it as much tonight because they were actually setting, what we call a horn screen, two guys in the middle of the floor screening for Anthony Edwards to get him off, and it really did a good job of springing him free.
Yeah, and I thought the Minnesota Timberwolves, unlike in the three previous games, they had a defensive game plan that they were going to execute. I thought they really played well defensively. I thought they were quick to the ball on that end of the court. And a lot of times when you're aggressive on the defensive end, it translates you become aggressive and decisive on the offensive end. So I thought overall they came out with a game plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They got to their sets quicker. Very, they were much quicker than they were in the previous games. And I thought, they made enough shots. Anthony Edwards is a great player. And he was able to get the ball a lot of times, Coach, below the free throw line with a live dribble. And anytime you can get your best player the ball in an operating area where that's on a penetrating pass, it really compromised the defense. And I thought they did a nice job of putting Anthony Edwards not just on the top of the floor, allowing him to dribble the ball to get to his shots, but they put him on the post some, they put him to the pinch post some. They were running, high double screens or horn screens at the top. So they really did a nice job to really keep the Dallas Mavericks off balance. And they had enough to win the game late. And it always helps when you make shots. Okay, and Cat made shots tonight.
Yeah, they're not going to. They're going to go back. They felt during the game they weren't getting a good whistle from the referees.
Minnesota. I thought they got a great whistle. I thought they got a great whistle.
No, I'm saying they didn't. They didn't. Okay. I don't think. And what I find, and BJ, you will be the one to really attest to this as a player, is that when you play really hard, the whistle's better for you.
Yes, always.
But when you're bitching and moaning on every call, then you know what? Refs are human too, and it's the same in any sport, whether it's football over there in Europe. BJ's now a European football, lover. He loves Bayern and Leverkusen and all that. But whereas you and I are Man City, Man U guys.
No, I'm Chelsea, bro. Don't give me that. Man U, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Jeez, you could have been a little nicer at 4.
No. Listen, calling me a Man United fan is like calling me a Laker fan. That is a war crime. That is a travesty. That is an act of terrorism. On my show, you come and say I'm a Man United fan. That's disgusting. Yeah. Disgusting.
Okay. Bad analogies. I'll stick to basketball. But I think the biggest thing is that when you do stop that, and I know they have Cat, Gobert. They've not committed a foul this year, and that's one of the biggest things. And so and I had them for about 8 fouls each. But I think you have to play through that in the playoffs, and now they can't relax when they go home, and for some reason they have been relaxing the last week.
Well,
and
just to go back to the foul stuff, they had Cat, Gobert, and Anthony Edwards all playing foul trouble for pretty much the entire fourth quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns did get fouled out down the stretch, but the luxury is you've got Naz Reid or you've got Kyle Anderson who can step in and fill that role. But I thought that Gobert and Ant-Man did a good job of managing those fouls as the Wolves managed to close this one out. But to your point about relaxing, and this is just, the general consciousness of basketball fans, a lot of people, well, including myself, said whoever wins the Denver-Minnesota series is going to be the eventual champion. Do you think that has affected the Minnesota Timberwolves and they took down the reigning champs and they thought that everything after that would be easier than having to go through Denver?
1,000%.
Oh, wow.
1,000. Yeah.
Let me hear this, Coach. Let me hear this.
Yeah, no, I think as Mo said, that when they won Game 7 against Denver, who I thought would win the championship this year, they thought that was it. And I think they came home and partied. I really do. As they got home late Sunday night, I think they partied and relaxed themselves Monday. And, some of them came into the first game with back injuries, Mo. I don't know if you know that, from people patting them on their back in Minneapolis for a few days,
Don't give Mo any ammunition.
All I'm going to say to
that's
the
what
Minnesota
happens.
Timberwolves,
Yeah.
when you're celebrating, you're not the ones who should be walking away with a back injury. That should be her.
Oh.
Wow. Hey, I'm banned in enough countries as it is. I'm not going in.
You made the coach get hot. You made the coach.
I had to get some water. Oh, man.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You made the coach.
I don't know what they got going on over there.
Nervous.
I don't know what they got going on over there.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mo, but this is Hoop Genius, and so I really don't
I'm waiting
know.
for BJ to hit me with the moving right along.
Sometimes, Coach, he gets a little track, but let's move this right along.
Let's
move it right along. Let's move it right along. Let's move this right along.
Great segue, BJ. Great segue.
But to be fair, after the game one, I said Anthony Edwards looked like he's got a hangover. That was my reaction to game one. I don't know if you guys heard the episode, but that was my reaction to how he shot in the first game of the series.
I mean, the guy is 22 and he looked like he was 52, the way he was so exhausted.
Yeah, but game two, he was pumping oxygen at halftime.
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with being 52?
When you're 22, it's not good.
Well, I'm 29, but I feel like I'm 59. So,
hey, you hang out with the two of us, you might get there quicker than you think.
If I hang out with the two of you, I know when I hang out with BJ, he goes back to his hotel at 8 p.m. and he says, "Mom, I'm old, I'm going to bed," and I'm just left by myself on the streets.
And he orders Italian room service.
Yeah, but he orders Italian room service and says, "This is the best Italian food I've ever had."
I would have a little space. I would have a little space and stuff like that. Oh, man. Love it.
I'm eating, but it ain't room service. Moving right along. You can tell the lack of sleep is just killing me now. At this point, anything's going to happen on this show.
Oh no! Yeah. Hey, this might be the best. This might be the best show of the year.
If you're listening to this with your family, I do apologize.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be up this early in the morning or late at night to be listening to this, right?
All right. Okay, Bo. Let's get back to the basketball.
Okay. So we were saying that they felt like they'd won when they beat the Denver Nuggets in 7 games.
So.
Now,
yes.
Psychologically speaking, if we're going to continue down that track and that element of the game, winning this game in Dallas to keep the series alive, how much of a psychological boost do you think this is for the Timberwolves? Because interestingly, in the post-game interview with Anthony Edwards, all he was saying is that he didn't want to get swept. He was like, "I've never been swept before. I don't want to get swept. I didn't want to get swept." Now, I don't know whether I'm reading too much into that, but I would have preferred him to have said, "Well, we've still got 3 more games to win. Not right. We want to avoid being swept." Do you think now the Minnesota Timberwolves are like, "Oh, at least we're not getting swept"? Do you think they're still going to have that same fire for Game 5?
That's an individual thing. I would sure hope they're thinking like you are. I know one thing, they have to go home, and I think they really need to play for their home fans, and I think they need to win another game, go back to Dallas, and then take the best shot, and I mean, this team won 3 games in Denver. That's stunning. So they're certainly capable, but they got to win this game at home. And I think they will. I really do. I really think they will. And Dallas they've got their foot off the pedal a little. They're going to say, "We want to close it out," but they know they can go back and close it out at home. So it's a dangerous game to play. But I think they're going to think that. I would really like to see Minnesota win. I think it'd be good for them as a team, as a fairly young team. I think they need it.
Well, Coach, one of the things that kind of stood out to me tonight is when you play vertical basketball with your bigs, it really occupies the defense in that cat and mouse game and screen roll. And you could tell the difference when Gafford was in the game and when Lively, who's out due to injury with a concussion, I believe.
Yeah, and they had a lot of
There was
Maxi
a
Kleber
noticeable
tonight. Who
there
back
was
from
a
injury.
noticeable difference in the guard play because now you could double team, Kyrie or Luka. So I don't know if it was just their defensive adjustment that they made or if it was the absence of Lively because it's really hard, very hard when you have a guy who you can just throw that ball up to and get lob passes and pass over the defense. So, I'm looking for him. I don't know if he's going to be eligible to come back next game.
He
But I
didn't
thought they
look too
missed.
great on the bench. He looked like he was still in pain. But
Yeah, but
to your point, BJ, they had Maxi Kleber back in the team, and he is kind of the opposite of Derek Lively. He's not playing vertical basketball. He's picking and then flaring out to the 3-point line to catch and shoot.
Yeah.
So when you look at how the Mavericks played tonight, they took 43s in comparison to just 24 for the Timberwolves. The Mavs tonight played Celtics basketball. They were just getting up those 3-pointers. And to their credit, they had some really nice ball movement, moving the ball around the 3-point line. However, it did feel like, I need to go and look at the numbers for the rest of the series, but it did feel like tonight they were forcing more threes than they have been doing over the first 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Coach.
I know BJ and I were talking, Mo, about pick and roll coverages. And when you have great guards and then the guys that are screening can score and the Mavs players score by rolling either Gafford or Lively, and you can throw lob passes too because Luka's so tall. You have to figure out how you're going to defend him. And I think I saw a little bit tonight. I think it starts with the matchups. I saw Anthony Edwards on Luka. Okay. Yep. Good size. And then we saw, Jaden McDaniel, playing Kyrie. So you have defender on defender. And I think that was a good move. And then I think what I saw is not too much trapping, but what I call getting up to what I call the level of the screen, BJ. And Anthony Edwards, so big, so athletic, trying to get over the screen and then up at the line of the screen, there was whoever was picking, whether it was Cat or Gobert, was just stopping him from penetrating till Edwards got back with him. I thought that was a big improvement. And they didn't get exposed. They weren't too far strung out to half court. Maybe they found a little something there.
Do you think how the Mavericks can counter that moving forward to the next game is that by starting their actions higher up the court, which gives them more space and they'll have to take longer to recover?
And I think the mistake when you play against someone that either can go by you, I don't like to go out far. I like to go back with Luka because he can shoot from so far. I would pick him up about 5 to 7 feet above the 3-point line. They were going all the way out to half court the first few games, and I think it allows the screener to move way up, and it turns the screen into a fast break almost, and that exposes your half court defense. So I would almost move it back, and like BJ and I were saying this morning at 7 a.m. LA time, he was we were talking about that sometimes let them keep taking threes and you better make them. And tonight was one of those nights they didn't make them.
Right.
And he made a couple of prayers at the end, but I think it's and now when I'm at home, I really challenge you to make them on the road. I really do. So.
Yeah, because we know the Timberwolves can hit their shots at home. They just couldn't close out the games. Whereas here, PJ Washington, 2 of 9, Kyrie Irving, 1 of 6, Luka, 4 of 11, but a couple of those came at the very end. That 4-point play, well, he missed the free throw, but that 4-point play had me jumping out of my seat thinking, are they really going to find a way to win this one as well?
I know.
Because it was unbelievable what he was doing there.
Yeah, no, that would have been tragic for them. So I'm glad they got a W. I really am. And the irony of the 2 series is that the games have been incredibly competitive.
Right.
Everyone thought that the Pacers were not in the Celtics class, but they competed every game and they were competitive. And then this series, you know, I think it was 50-50 who thought who would win. You know, T-Wolves had the home court advantage, and then it goes up 3-0. I don't think many people had that happening. You know, I thought they might get a split in Minnesota, you know, and then, you know, they could win two at home. So they're up 3-1 is what it could have been. You know, so I'm glad we're still playing. I like to see games.
So, BJ, if you're the Boston Celtics and you're in the NBA Finals now, you're watching this series very closely. Who would you rather go up against, the Timberwolves or the Mavericks?
Well, Mo, because you have to have a championship caliber mentality. Who would you rather go up against? You want to go against the best. If you're going to be the best, you have to have
no. But what I mean,
mentality.
What I mean is this playoffs has showed more than ever the importance of matchups, right? So the Timberwolves were built to take care of the Nuggets. They weren't built to take care of a team with a guard-heavy offense like the Dallas Mavericks. So from a matchups perspective, rather than because I know if you want to be a champion, you can't pick who you play, etc. But from a matchups perspective, defensively and offensively, which of these two teams would you rather face?
Well, when I look at these teams, I don't think your Celtics match up with either team very well. I don't think they match up. So, you know, you're down a few bigs over there, and you have Uncle Al over there holding it down. Now, I don't know if that's a favorable matchup for Uncle Al against Karl Anthony Towns, Naz Reid, and Rudy Gobert. And then when I look at the athleticism of the Dallas Mavericks, you know, Al was a pretty good athlete in his day, but I don't know if Lively and Gafford are good matchups for him. And we know when they play against your Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks, if that happens, that they're going to pick on Uncle Al in all screen roll with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. So I don't know if there's a favorable matchup for them, because, you know, I just think both teams will pose their own set of problems. You know, Anthony Edwards certainly won't be an easy guard. Naz Reid, you know, everyone's going to have problems. So when you get to this level, I think it's foolish to really start thinking like who you want to play, because as you know, these teams are incredibly well coached. They both have, you know, defensively, they're very capable in their own respective way. And it's going to take a tremendous effort. So I think you have to be prepared to play 7 games, no matter who's out there. But more importantly, you have to be ready to execute at a high level on both ends of the floor if you're going to be crowned champion. So I think right now they should get lucky for any game that this series gets extended, because it gives Porzingis an opportunity to get another day of rest and get him back, because they're going to need everybody.
Yeah, the finals are going to start on the 6th of June regardless, but it's just how tired is your opponent when they turn up to Boston.
So,
Coach, do you have a take on who's a tougher matchup?
I think the Celtics would do better against Minnesota. I think they have really good guards, the Celtics, and then I don't know who can stop Tatum and Brown, you know, for them. And
I got McDaniels and Ant-Man. That's a good matchup.
Yeah, no, but then they got Drew Holiday and the other guy.
Derek White.
You know, yeah, so that's why I think
whoever Mike Conley's guarding, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Mike Conley's going to be the guy. So as much as they'll pick on Al Horford, the other way around as well.
I think they would. I think when they have home court advantage, so I think that would be quote an easier series. I think the interesting matchup is if they play Dallas, is that you have two great defensive guards to guard Kyrie and Luka. You know, with Drew Holiday, I think it's just really two great defensive guards, Derek White and Drew, against Luka and Kyrie. And then, my God, those two at forward. I mean, when they're going like they are every game, I mean, there's not many teams that can put guys out that can score the ball like they can. So I think it'd be an intriguing matchup. But I love it. They have home court in that one too. BJ and I like home court advantage.
The Celtics
BJ,
don't. They play better on the road in the playoffs than they do at
yeah,
home.
I know, but you
And
game
so do the
seven,
Timberwolves.
you like to have it in game seven, though. And BJ, you've had home court in all three of your championships, correct?
Yes, that would be
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. And it's a huge thing, man. It's huge. I
BJ,
mean,
when you were making the NBA Finals, did you have times when you were waiting for the other series to play out? And what were you doing as a team to prepare during those times?
mm,
That's a good question, Mo. I don't know what you guys coach. I like to play. I didn't like to I didn't, like to sit down
yeah,
and hang out because no matter what you do in practice, it doesn't replicate what a game is. And I wanted to get those game reps at game speed.
yeah,
So I didn't like when there was a long rest. I didn't like when we played and we won 4 or 5 games or whatever it was, and then we were just sitting around waiting because that game one, I don't care what you do, it's just an awful game to play because you're never fresh, you're never sharp, you're a little sluggish, your legs, you don't get that second, nothing can duplicate that. So I always like to play, and I did the best I could. Fortunately for us, we were able to overcome that. But I remember we lost a lot of those game ones after long layoffs. And, we lost when we played in the Lakers, for instance, when it was that 2-3-2 series, we lost game one to the Lakers.
I remember that. Then you won.
And
Then you won 4 in a row.
Then we won 4 in a row. So I just don't like the layoffs. But that was me. And but every team and every team and every individual is different. But all the teams I played on that were good, we just wanted to play. If I could play every other day, that was best for me.
Yeah, we swept the first 2 rounds in both of our championships, so we had long layoffs after each sweep. And then year before BJ came in the league, we had like 8-9 days off before we played in the Eastern Conference Finals against Chicago, and they beat New York on a Friday night with Rick Pitino coaching, and then Sunday afternoon we're playing in the Palace, and they came in and beat us because we'd been off, just like you said, for so long.
Yeah.
And then we won the game. Then we went to Chicago, blew a 19-point lead, and Mike only had 47 because I was the defensive coordinator. And
the Jordan rules weren't implemented then.
That at 4 in the morning they were that night, and they came back and beat us by 2 points. So they were up 2-1 in that series, and then we won 3 in a row. But then the following year, we played the Bulls. BJ's first year, 7 games, game 7 at the Palace.
Right.
The guy that was, at the EuroLeague finals, his teammate Scottie Pippen had a unfortunate headache, kind of like you are tonight, Mo. But you're pushing through it tonight.
Find a way.
Hey, coach.
So we won that game, and then I think Tuesday or Wednesday we had to play Portland at home. So I mean, so both times when we had to play Eastern Conference Finals against Chicago, we had to play in 2 or 3 days right away. So
hey, Mo, ask the coach his record in the finals.
Do share.
I've only coached 9 games in the NBA Finals. I've won 8 of them.
Hey, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. And I know he still thinks about the one that he didn't win.
That was Portland game 2 at home. Rodman sprained his ankle. Never thought he'd play, and he didn't play the rest of the series, and we still won.
So the Celtics are getting a long rest. The Mavericks and Timberwolves have 1 day off before they have to play the next game, game 5 in Minnesota. What's the keys here for Dallas to bounce back and close out the series on the road after seeing the adjustments that Minnesota made tonight?
Well, I think they'll be pissed off really big time, and they'll be mad. And so when Jay Kidd gets them together tomorrow, whether they meet there or they just have them get on a plane and we go there and have a meeting when we get to Minneapolis, which might not be all bad. you know, basically, you watch the film and then you make your little corrections. And I think they're mature enough and experienced enough to handle that. So that's what I do. But rest is really important this time of year. Practice is non-existent. We're in game 100 probably already for these guys. So I think it's really critical. But I think that's what Jake Kidd will do. He's been masterful. I think he's done a great job. He's so poised on the sideline. He's really become an outstanding leader. I heard a great comment about him tonight on the game telecast that he doesn't tell the players, BJ, what to do. He tells them what he would do as a player, which I thought was a unique perspective.
That's interesting.
I thought it was great. This is what I would do when I was playing, which is
that is fascinating.
Fascinating, right? I thought it was very cool. Very cool.
Hey, coach, let me ask you this: as a coach, I mean, I think about crazy things like this.
Ordering
is a
Italian food in Germany.
Yes, because it's all about the food. But with such a quick turnaround,
yeah,
would you practice tomorrow and then leave, or just go straight there?
I would not.
If you were the Dallas Mavericks, when I say practice, would you meet, get a little treatment, and then leave, or would you just say, "Hey guys, let's meet at the airport and get to Dallas"? What would you do tomorrow?
I think it's one of those great things about your team and you know what you want to do. There's part of you that says, let's meet at 1 o'clock in the afternoon so they can rest a little tonight. And then there are a few players that probably need treatment, and that would be it. I might show some video, but I'd get their ass on the plane. And I only do that if I want to make sure everyone's there and accounted for, so to speak. That would be the only thing I'd do, but obviously not even stepping on the floor at all. And I don't go to the arena on game day either.
Really?
In Minnesota, no, because the guys go over now 2 hours beforehand. Plus they played several games in that building already this year. My big thing is get them off their feet. I have a 12 noon meeting. I feed them a big meal, and then we might walk through an adjustment or two in a ballroom, and maybe a short edit of something that we saw, something else we might want to see. That would be it. But I don't believe at this time of year, they don't need to go over there. They don't need shots. They just need to be off their feet and rest.
Now, let me ask you this.
Because they only play 8 guys.
If I was an NBA coach, say I coach the Timberwolves,
I'd play for you, ass, anytime.
Of course you
I'd
would.
love that. Yeah,
of course you would. But I'd be worse than Tom Thibodeau because I would never let anyone rest. Anyway.
What is wrong with you two?
It gets worse, BJ. Prepare yourself. If I was coach of the Timberwolves, I would know exactly what hotel the Mavericks are staying in. Why would they not just tape the meeting room and find out the adjustment that the Mavericks are going to make before the game?
Oh my God. What ethics?
I'm trying to win.
Oh, Lord.
I'm down 3-1 in a series. I need to win this game.
See, if you're playing in Chicago or Boston in the day, what happens is the hotel you're staying in, the fire alarm goes off.
Yep.
Like at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Or people do fireworks outside the hotel. That's what they do for the football over here.
Oh, yeah. But the fire alarm goes off, and it's an awful thing. But yeah, I remember in Boston, they did that to us once when Bird was playing. We came out, they made us get out of the room. And I go down there, BJ, and we go down there. It's like 4 a.m, right? And who's in the hotel lobby sitting there like he's waiting for the morning breakfast place to open? Wayne Gretzky. Edmonton's playing, and he's there, and they're playing in the hockey. He's playing at night. We're playing at 12 noon. And I'm like going, he's like here, like he didn't even go to bed that night. I mean, he just got up when the alarm came, sat down there. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan was sitting in a hotel lobby? It never would happen. It was the great one there.
That's crazy. Yeah,
but
It was
But
Bill
I
Belichick
like
who
that.
like tapes opponent practices, right? In NFL.
No, that yeah. Please don't. Poor Bill. Don't the mind align. Yeah, no, that wouldn't be nice. That wouldn't be nice. It's a hell of an idea. I never heard of that before.
Well, I always just got to find a way to win, bro. That's what it's about. So, do you guys have a prediction for Game 5? Do you think Dallas closes it on the road, or are the Timberwolves keeping this series alive and go to a Game 6? BJ, who you got?
I got Dallas. I think they'll be ready. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks.
Coach Suhr.
I'm definitely going with my T-Wolves. Yeah.
Okay, so we got a split decision.
I just want more ball.
I'm going with the Timberwolves because that new TV deal, I don't think it's quite finalized yet. They want to try and get every penny they can, and the conference finals any early ain't the best way to do it. I'm just saying.
Boy, you're thinking like a real business guy tonight. Plus,
Future
you get to see Barkley.
Yep.
And,
yep. One
and
more
Shaq
game of
some
the
more.
TNT crew.
Yeah,
Might be the last
yeah.
time we ever see them. So fingers
No,
crossed this
their
goes 7
contract
games.
is next year too. Their
Oh,
contract is for next
okay.
year. Yeah.
But what people will not see is there will be no episode of the podcast tomorrow because there's no Celtics game, no Pacers game. So we get a night to actually sleep, which I'm very much looking forward to.
I would actually get up and do something. I really would if I were you. Joking. That was a joke. We'll give you the night off. No cussing on your podcast.
Oh,
Well, much like the Dallas Mavericks players, as you instructed, Coach, I will be off my feet. So
well played. And maybe that's why you're a little under the weather. Sometimes you get a little lightheaded when you have a little too much activity late at night or early in the morning.
All right.
Streets are cold.
Bye.
Okay, listen, make sure you guys subscribe to
YouTube,
YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. Check out the Coaching You podcast for Coach Suhr for more of him. BJ and I'll be back after Game 5. So Dallas series. And until next time, get buckets.